Whenever someone asks me what I'd like to do for the first time again, my answer always has to do with movies. I think about what movies I'd like to watch for the first time again. I think about movies that I enjoy. I think about why I want to watch them for the first time again. So that's what this video is about. Hi, I'm Daniel and I like movies. My go-to answer for this question will always be the Star Wars movies. I watched them when I was a kid at kind of a weird time where I don't really remember what happened in them, but I also remember the big important moments and also other random moments like that worm scene from number two, I think it was. You know the scene. I also remember the scene in number three where they're outside. I think it's number three where they're outside, Anakin and Padme. I also remember Yoda crawling through the pipes. I remember a lot of weird details. The reason I say Star Wars, besides what I just said, is because of the cultural impact of a lot of it. Like I'm talking specifically about Darth Vader being Luke's father. That is a huge cultural moment with huge cultural impact, and I watched that and I was like, okay, I don't get it. I don't really remember what I watched first. I don't know if I watched the prequels first or the sequels first or that kind of stuff. And I want to watch them. I want to watch the sequels and the prequels. And then I want to forget again and watch the prequels and then the sequels, just so I can get all those different experiences that people had. Because I had to watch them how I watched them. My dad wants to watch them. He put them on. I didn't know anything about them. I was like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna watch it how it is. So yeah, I just had to watch it how it was, and so I end up watching the sequels, the prequels, and then the sequels. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure that's how it went, and then I already knew about Darth Vader and everything. But I would have loved to watch the sequels and be like, "Oh, that's Darth Vader," and then the prequels and being like, "Oh, that's what happened." That would have been so cool to me. I really like the idea of doing that because then I would have that cultural impact, that cultural that everyone had when watching it for the first time. And like I said, I'm probably going to skip the Disney sequels because yeah, they suck. They really won't pan out at all. J Coat on TikTok, very funny guy. He makes a lot of Star Wars content. He's very funny in a humorous way. He talks about how they suck. So hey, I'm just recommending people now. Go watch him on TikTok. He's on YouTube as well, I think. Yeah, I watched a YouTube video of his. Go subscribe to him. Do whatever. Staying with the space theme, I think Interstellar would have to be the next option for me. I love it. I love the movie. I love the docking scene specifically. That's probably one of my favorite scenes in cinema, in movies. And I'm saying that because of Hans Zimmer's score. If that score wasn't as good as it was, that scene would just be like another random scene of people docking in a ship in a cool way, But it's like that song. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's just, I love Hans Zimmer. He's my favorite composer. Nolan's also my favorite director. So yeah, it's a great movie. I would have loved to watch it for the first time again. Um, I didn't even talk about why. It's because of the not necessarily twists and turns in it, but because of just the story. If you've watched the movie again, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, most people have watched it, so I'm going to talk about it. But it's like how he goes back in time, and then he is the ghost, and then there's also the whole message about love. Love can move mountains. Love can do a lot, and there's a lot of science and stuff. I watched it when I was a kid, and I didn't get it. It was a long movie with a lot of science and a lot of talking. I liked the action, and I remembered the bookcase. I don't remember why, but I would have loved to watch that again and just experienced it all as one thing, as opposed to the kind of broken up thing I had in my memory and then rewatching it again. Side note, I rewatched it in theaters at the start of this year. Brilliant experience. I really recommend if it ever comes to theaters near you or wherever, which I don't know. I don't know how that works. I really recommend watching it on the biggest screen you can. It's a beautiful movie. I love it. Handsome is great in it. Nolan is great in it, and it's a really great movie that I also just want to watch again. I want to have that fresh experience again because I think that would heal me on a spiritual level. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a good movie. So yeah, I would just love to rewatch it for the first time because it's just a good movie. And I think even forgetting about it and rewatching it, I'd love it all the same, maybe even more. While we're on Christopher Nolan, this one is kind of a caveat, but I'd love to watch Oppenheimer again for the first time. I didn't catch it in theaters, unfortunately. I watched it when it came to streaming, but when it came to streaming, I watched it and I loved it. The hot take here, it was a good movie. Obviously, it won Oscars and everything. But And Cillian Murphy, great, great in it. But I didn't get it. There was a lot happening. It's very non-linear because it's Christopher Nolan, and Christopher Nolan is a very non-linear director, which is fine with me. I just, sometimes it confuses me. Um, but it's a very non-linear movie, and there's the multiple times, and I don't really understand what's happening. I don't know why. There was a court case, and there was a hearing, and there was like that room, and then it was like just a lot happening in like a 3 hour movie, and wasn't really focused fully on it, which sucks. I'm probably gonna rewatch it normally, but yeah, I would have loved to watch it in theaters because that would have just been an experience. Like that scene where they show off the Trinity test and the music that goes along with it, and also Ludwig Göransson. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Ludwig Göransson is how I would pronounce it, but I don't know if that's it. He's also a great, great composer. He's brilliant. I really like him as well. And that's something I would have loved to see in the theaters. The Trinity test scene and Ludwig's score and all of that stuff would have been amazing. Like I said, it's a caveat because I have watched it. I don't want to watch it for the first time again. I just want to experience it in theaters. And if it does ever, like in 10 years or whatever, come to theaters, I'm definitely going to be watching it. Like I said, staying on the topic of Nolan, I'm going to be talking about two movies that they were similar, not in terms of what happens in them, but because of, like, if you look at them broadly, they hit the same beats, basically. The Prestige and Memento. I love them both. They're great movies. I think I prefer The Prestige a little better, but that's like saying prefer a Lamborghini over a Ferrari. It's like they're very similar things, and they're both great. It's not like I'm comparing a Lamborghini to a Beetle or whatever. I like Beatles though. Anyways, that's point aside. I'm not a car guy. I love both these movies, and they do really good jobs at captivating me, specifically at least. I like magic. I know I'm 20 years old and I like magic. Ooh, but I do. It's cool to me. Christian Bale learned how to do some magic for the movie, which is cool. Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, David Bowie, they're all in it. Alfred, I forget his name now. Alfred from Batman Begins is in it. He's in a lot of other stuff now. You see me, he's in a lot. It's a great cast. It's a really, really good cast. If you don't want spoilers for the movie, because I do recommend watching it blind, The Prestige and Memento. I know I told you The Prestige is about magic, but like it's called The Prestige, and like the first like minute they talk about that. So I'm fine with saying that. But if you don't want any more plot details, just skip to. I think I'm going to put a timestamp right here if I figure out how to do that. Um, and so skip to there. But the plot of Prestige is that there's a two feuding magicians, Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. They're feuding magicians, and they keep trying to one up each other or take down the other. It's very well written as well. You got their characters, you got their wives, you got. I mean, it's Nolan, so the women aren't really well written, but that the guys are at least. I don't know. So you got their wives and you got them, and they just keep trying to take each other down in these really like increasing ways, and they end up hurting each other and everything. It's cool. Like someone I forget how, but Christian Bale's fingers get shot off, and then there's a whole twist in the movie, and this is the spoilery part. So if you didn't skip to the timestamp, you should, if you don't want spoilers. But like, there's a twist that like Christian Bale has a twin brother that also cuts his fingers off so that they can kind of be the same person and act like the same person to trick trick the world, basically, even trick Christian Bale's character's own wife. It's really cool, and that's like a cool twist. And then Hugh Jackman figuring out just like magic, basically. I know that's like Tesla and that's science, and Tesla's a very smart guy, and all of that in real world. And I don't know if he did cloning or managed to invent cloning, but like that whole thing of him killing a bunch of his clones just to do a magic trick is very morbid to me. It's like it left me with a very uneasy feeling of being like, ooh, eesh, I don't know about that one. That's kind of weird. But it's not weird and bad. It's weird and good, but it did leave me with an uneasy feeling, if you catch my drift. And yeah, that's The Prestige. I love it. Great. I would love to watch it for the first time again. I'm probably going to rewatch it soon. Anyways, it's a great movie. One of my favorites. It just the twist is good and the acting is so good. I'd love to experience it again. Similar with Memento, acting's good, twist is good, story's really good. Also Memento, Skip to this timestamp if you don't want any spoilers, because again, I highly recommend going into this one completely blind. I went in blind and I had a great time, so skip. If you don't care about spoilers, or if you watch the movie, carry on watching. It's about a guy with memory loss and he has to like write notes for himself, take photos, all of that stuff. They kind of reference it humorously in Brooklyn Nine-Nine in a good episode. I like it. It's um, called Pimento because Pimento has memento disease and he keeps thinking it's like Finding Dory disease because they've never seen memento. It's pretty funny, and the acting's good, like I said, and the twist is good because it's like a story of it's non-linear. It's Nolan, but we see two parts. We see like the movie as it starts, and there's sometimes clips from the movie like before it started, and so we're kind of moving forward here and then moving from the back to get to where we started from. Oh wait, no, I need to rewatch this movie. My apologies, I was wrong. We start somewhere and then we're moving backwards to the start of the movie. So I think we see the movie as it goes here, and then sometimes there's clips from the movie as it's here, going back here, that's in black and white to tell the difference. I think I need to rewatch this movie. I'm actually glad I got that wrong because now I want to rewatch. Anyways, I do remember there's some non-linear stuff, and the twist of the main character actually being the bad guy who he's kind of hunting. I think he's a detective. Is is like a really good twist. I really enjoy it. And again, I'd love to watch it for the first time again. I might even be watching it for the first time again because I don't really remember much about it now that I'm thinking about it. So that's great. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. And in case you couldn't tell, I love Nolan. What what was that? Yes, I am a straight white guy. Why do you ask? Um, Nolan's great. Hans Zimmer, I love Hans Zimmer. He's my favorite composer. Ludwig is a close second. Not a close second. I like John Williams, all of that stuff. I'm not talking about composing in this video, but I'm going to end up talking about tangents because I like talking about tangents. John Williams, all the other ones, I forget all of their names now besides those three. Michael Giacchino. There you go. There's one more. Sunlux. Sunlux is good. Okay, I'm going to stop. Composers are good. Nolan's good. I like all those movies. Changing up the genre a little bit, Scream. I like the Scream movies. They are good. I like number one, I think, the most because it's just captured like a good vibe. Like it's a good vibe, you know. I watched Scream first 2 years ago, in October. Randomly, it didn't even happen that I was going to watch a horror movie. I just said to my mom, "Hey, mom, have you seen Scream?" She was like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, well, I've been wanting to watch it. A friend of mine's been talking about it." I'm like, and she's like, "Okay, let's watch it." So we watched it, and we just binged them. Like it was a weekend, and we just binged them, and it was awesome. It was really fun. And then we did it again last year, again in October. That was such a coincidence. Like just in October, we were just like, "You want to Scream?" I was like, "Well," my mom was like, "What happened in Scream?" Because I was talking about it again. And I was like, "You want to watch Scream?" And she's like, "Yeah, we can watch it. I don't really remember what happened." And so I was like, "Yeah, no, let's watch Scream." But yeah, no, Scream is awesome to me. I love, like I said, I love number one. It's got such a good vibe and such a good story and atmosphere of being the first one. Number two is good. Story's a bit iffy, but two I think captures one's vibe really well and like translates it over into a sequel. But like I said, the story's a bit iffy, so it kind of knocks a couple points down for me. I love the modern day ones, Scream 5 and 6. I'm excited to see Scream 7. I'm not seeing it in theaters though. I'm gonna stream it when it comes. But I am excited to see it because I do love Radio Silence. That's Matt Bettinelli Open, Tyler Gillette, and Chad something. I forget his name now, but that's the trio that's directed that. They also worked on Radio Not and Abigail. Abigail also stars Melissa Barrera, who's in Scream 5 and 6. So yeah, they work with people they know, and they're really good. I really like them. Like I said, Radio Not, great movie. Abigail, good movie. I prefer Radio Not, but still, they're both great, really good movies. And so is Scream 5 and 6. And I'm sure Scream 7 is going to be really good as well. But like I said, Scream One has that vibe to it, and it's got Stu Marker in it. Flipping Matthew Lillard. He's probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. I really like him, and I really like the twists in the movie. All the twist in the movie of how it's like how it's spoilers. um, in case you haven't watched Scream, you should watch Scream. It's a really good movie. Go binge all of them like I did. So now that the spoilers have been alerted, Scream, it's got Stu and Billy as the bad guys, and it's it's cool, like rewatching it, seeing kind of details that they do and how they talk and everything, and how the writers kind of made it obvious once you know. It's like it's not obvious, but they have hints, and there's things they talk about and things they do where it's like that's kind of weird, and especially Stu. But then again, Stu's just kind of a weird guy. Fun fact about Scream One is that Matthew Lillard wasn't going to be in it at all. His girlfriend at the time actually went to another audition in a similar building, and they were auditioning for Scream, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to do an audition?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." He auditioned, got the part. Obviously, now it's like iconic as Stu Marker. Probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, like I said, is Stu. He's very funny. But yeah, I would have loved to watch Scream, all of them. I would love to watch all of them again for the first time. But if I could only choose one, I know I didn't give myself that option for Star Wars, but that's in the past, so let's not try and change that. But if I could only choose one Scream movie to watch again, it would be Scream One. It's iconic. It's really good, and it's like the start of Scream. It's so good. I really, really, really enjoy that movie. Staying on the kind of horror train, there's another movie from indie, they're kind of not in indie anymore, but indie filmmakers of Erin Moorhead and Justin Benson. Moorhead and Benson, yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's a movie called The Endless. It is a good movie, and again, spoiler warning, I recommend going to this one blind, and I'm going to be talking about another movie called The Resolution as well, so I recommend going into both of those blind. So, spoiler warning for The Endless. The Endless. It's about two brothers going back to a cult that they had left when they were younger, or they were in when they were younger, and then they left, and they're trying to deprogram themselves from it. But then they get a message or something, or like a not a message, like a text message, like a note, a letter. You can tell them 20. They get a letter, and then they go back to see them because there's this whole like ritual thing happening. I don't really remember. It's kind of fuzzy, so I do want to watch it again. But anyway, they go back to the cult, and then there's this cult worships this god, and then you kind of see from the perspective of the god, but it's like just like the camera, you never see the god, you just see from the perspective of it. But it's like trapping all of these people in this cult in a time loop. Where the thing restarts. I think it's like a 10-year long loop. So they just will live 10 years and shoop, and then live 10 years, and I think they have their memories. They should do. Anyways, one of the brothers goes out exploring, and he sees multiple other people stuck in loops, and then they actually run into people from, spoiler alert, the Resolution, which is another movie made by Moorhead and Benson kind of earlier in their career, that has these two characters. This one friend is trying to help another friend kick his addiction, so he takes him out into the woods and kind of chains him up to in a shack. I think the friend is living in the shack. So this other friend goes to his other friend's shack kind of in the woods, and handcuffs him to like a pipe or something, and then weird things start happening, weird things start showing up, and then at the end of the movie it's like kind of a film thing, and then it kind of breaks, and then we see from the perspective of this like monster, and then the movie ends, and then I'm assuming it's the same monster or god from the Endless, because they tie together. So anyway, the one brother goes exploring, and they run into the people from the movie Resolution, and they're like, "Hey, remember me?" Because in Resolution they kind of visited the cult on the outskirts. And then the brother was like, "Yeah, I remember you. You're like blah blah blah." And then they were like, "Yeah, well, we can't escape any of this." And it's kind of a morbid scene, but it's cool. But this segment's about the Endless, not the Resolution. They do kind of have the Endless kind of has less of a plot. On the Resolution, it's just kind of they meet the two brothers and they're like, "Oh hey," and then it's like just kind of a thing. And then in the Endless, they explore the brothers, and then Resolution kind of has a plot on the Endless, but it's just like a small part where it's like, hey, this was our movie, we're kind of talking, it's part of the same universe, and then they go. They have a third movie that's kind of in the same universe called Something in the Dirt, but it's also not. It's more hit and miss and weird. They worked on Loki season one, oh no, Loki season two, and I think Daredevil Born Again. They're good. They're really, yeah, they did work on Daredevil Born Again. They're really good directors, writers, filmmakers. I really like their work. But like I said, I want this segment's about The Endless. So The Endless is the movie I want to watch for the first time again. Resolution would be cool, but it's like I know what it's about. I kind of know what happens. I understand the vibe of it. So The Endless I would like to watch again because it's horror kind of, and it just tells this kind of story. that ties in with Resolution. So I could watch Resolution and then The Endless again for the first time, and then maybe the third one or whatever. But it's like if I could watch both of them for the first time again, I would. But if I had to choose, I choose The Endless because Resolution I can watch, and then The Endless I'm like, whoa, because I watched The Endless first, and then I watched Resolution, Endless, and Something in the Dirt, and so I kind of had a weird way of watching it because I didn't realize they were tied together. I would have loved to watch The Endless for the first time again. It's good, and I would have loved to watch Resolution before that one. Even if I've watched it, I can rewatch it and then watch the end. It's just that I ended up watching The Endless, and then I was like, oh, it's part of a duology slash trilogy. So then I did the whole duology, and it's like it's good movies. Watch them, but yeah. Some honorable mentions I'd like to include. These aren't movies that are like necessarily ones that I'd want to watch for the first time again. If I could, I might take it, but it's more just ones that I really like and want to watch again. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. Anyways, honorable mention number one, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, favorite movie of all time. I love it so much. I watched it when I was very young, and then I watched it again when I was a bit older. And then when I was a bit older, I was like, this is my favorite movie. This is the best movie in the world. So I would like to watch it again. Not necessarily because I want to watch it again for the first time, but like it's just a good movie. I'm happy watching it again, even not knowing. And I feel like if I watched it again now, it wouldn't have the same impact on me that it did back then, which is probably a good thing because Scott kind of sucks. So it's not good that I kind of related with him back then. So that's a movie I really like that I would like to watch again. Also, another honorable mention, The Wild Robot. I love that movie. It is beautiful. It is also one of my favorite movies. I just like rewatching my favorite movies over and over again. But I watched this last year. It was in theaters, and it was in theaters around my birthday, and I get a free ticket on my birthday. So I was like, hey, let me just make use of it. None of the other movies looked fun. I was like, The Wild Robot, if it's animated and it's bad, I can laugh at it. If it's good, I'll enjoy it. Whatever. Let me just go put it on. And then I watched it and I'm like, wow, this is the best, one of the best movies in the world. I love it so much. And I just want to watch it again on a big screen because it was so good. And I didn't feel like I would allow myself to be as emotional as I should have been while watching it. Because if you've not seen it, it is a very emotional movie, especially nearer to the end. But it is a really good movie, and I want to be able to have that emotion again, that have it evoke that emotion for me for the first time again. But like I said, it probably will still evoke the same emotion. I know I didn't say that, but I'm saying it now. It probably will still evoke the same emotion having watched it again, just rewatched it, and not necessarily watching it for the first time. But it is just a beautiful movie that I can't recommend enough. But just allow yourself to be emotional during it. Don't like try stop. Don't try like block it off. Just open up and just watch it and do what you want to do with it. It is good. Now I'm going to group a couple horror ones together. Some the horror honorable mentions are Smile 1 and 2 and The Babadook. Not necessarily because they're movies I want to watch again for the first time. It's just that they scared me. The Babadook was a creepy movie. Smile 1 and 2 was creepy. 2 especially at the end, and 1 especially at the end was really creepy. Was very scary, and I haven't felt scared by a horror movie in a while. I watch a lot of horror movies, so I'm kind of used to seeing horror. If you can, actually, I haven't had a call to action in this video yet. If you can, please let me know some horror movies in the comments below that you recommend. I would love to get some scary horror movies. The Boogeyman with I think it had Sophie Thatcher and the girl who plays young Leia in Obi-Wan. She was in that, and I think it's Sophie Thatcher, but I might be wrong. Anyways, that one scared me actually. So I'd love to watch something like that again as well. But that's why I like Smile 1 and 2 and The Babadook because they creep me out and they scared me, and they're just good movies. Babadook more so because it's got a whole message behind it, metaphor, and all of that stuff. And Smile 1 and 2, they're just scary. I watched Smile 1 in theaters instead of Black Adam, and I was like, hey, so I'm not going to sleep for the next week because yeah. And I also came out the theater as sun was setting, so it was kind of like a weird vibe. It was still bright out, but it was like orange, so it had a weird vibe to it after watching that. It was just, the vibes surrounding it. It was good. I really liked it, but the vibes were iffy to say the least. Honorable mentions out the way. I want to talk about my final movie that I want to watch again for the first time. And that movie is none of them. I know I just spent the whole video talking about the movies I'd like to watch again for the first time, but honestly, I don't think I do. I'm happy to rewatch them. I'm happy to rewatch Interstellar, Scott Pilgrim, Wild Robots, all of those movies. But The Prestige, but the Memento, like I said. But I just need to stop interrupting myself and tell you what I was going to say. What I was going to say was I watched those when I was supposed to watch them. I feel like the Babadook I watched at a very specific time in my life when I was going through something tough, and it's like there's a whole metaphor for depression in it and everything. And it's not just that movie; it's like all of those movies. Scott Pilgrim I watched at this very specific time in my life. Interstellar, The Wild Robot, all of these movies I watched when I was supposed to watch them, and I am who I am because of the movies that I watched at this specific time in my life, and I don't want to change anything about that because then I worry about fundamentally changing something about myself. I don't want to do that. Sure, I feel like there's some stuff wrong with me, but it's like not got to do with anything me related. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. I just don't want to be in a rush to change things and to alter things and make things different when they are how they're meant to happen. It happens as it's meant to happen. I don't want to change that. I shouldn't want to change that. And as much as I love all these movies, and I know that watching them again would do things for me. Like I said, watching Interstellar for the first time again would change me now to be a different person than I am. I am who I am because I watched it when I watched it. So it affected me how it affected me, how it was supposed to affect me at the time that I watched it. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. I just think that's beautiful. I just think it's beautiful that movies can affect me so much that I just am changed. And I think that that's the real punk rock. Scratch what I just said. I can watch Superman over and over and over again until I become better and better and better forever. Thank you for watching.